Three of the biggest fan favorites in golf history have just been banned from the 2026 U.S. Open, and the PGA Tour is staring down an absolute disaster. These legends aren't sitting out due to injury. The USGA has officially locked them out, refusing to grant a single special exemption. By slamming the door on the game's biggest draws, the USGA is doing more than just protecting a leaderboard. They are exposing a massive structural fracture that threatens the entire professional golf ecosystem. Millions of fans tune in specifically to watch these icons, and their sudden absence is a catastrophic blow to the sport's already fragile television ratings. But this creates a fascinating industry debate. One side of the golf world argues that major championships must fiercely protect their competitive integrity, meaning absolutely no free handouts for past glory. The other side believes that alienating the very stars who built the modern game is corporate suicide. What is your take? Let me know in the comments. Should the USGA bend the rules for legendary players, or is nobody bigger than the tournament? And if you want the unfiltered truth about the politics tearing golf apart, hit that subscribe button. Before we get to the first blocked star, you need to understand something critical. This wasn't the PGA Tour's decision. The U.S. Open is run by the USGA, a completely independent governing body. They don't answer to the PGA Tour. They don't answer to LIV. And they certainly don't answer to television networks or player managers. Their qualification system is rigid by design. To earn a spot, a player must either sit inside the top 60 in the official world golf rankings, hold a valid exemption from a recent major victory, or survive one of the most brutal qualifying processes in professional golf. Special exemptions exist, but they are rare, calculated, and never guaranteed. This year, the USGA made one thing clear: no exceptions. And that firm stance is exactly why the first name on this list hits the hardest. Because when a player of this magnitude can't get in, it's no longer just about rules. It's about consequences. And no player represents those consequences more than Tiger Woods. For nearly 3 decades, Tiger hasn't just competed in majors, he has defined them. Entire television broadcasts are structured around his tee times. Casual fans who don't watch golf all year suddenly tune in when his name appears on the leaderboard, but this year there is no Tiger storyline at Shinnecock. After his recent legal troubles and time away from competition, his world ranking dropped outside the qualifying threshold. The USGA had the option to issue a special exemption. They chose not to. That decision sends a powerful message. Past dominance does not guarantee present access. From a competitive standpoint, it's defensible. From a business standpoint, it's risky. Because when Tiger isn't in the field, viewership patterns shift. Sponsor value shifts. The emotional energy surrounding the event shifts. The U.S. Open will still crown a champion. But without the biggest draw in modern golf, the atmosphere changes, and that's where the PGA Tour's bigger concern begins to surface, because Tiger's absence affects ratings, Phil Mickelson's absence affects legacy. Few careers in golf are as intertwined with the U.S. Open as Phil's. 5 major championships, 6 runner-up finishes at this one event. For more than 2 decades, the U.S. Open wasn't just another tournament for him. It was the unfinished chapter that defined his career. And in 2026, the championship returns to Shinnecock Hills, the same course where he finished second in 2004. On paper, it felt like destiny giving him one more chance. Instead, his 5-year exemption from winning the 2021 PGA Championship expired. He didn't go through qualifying. And the USGA made no move to extend an invitation. No farewell run, no redemption arc. From a rules perspective, it's consistent. But from a storytelling perspective, it's a massive void. Because majors aren't remembered only for who wins. They're remembered for the battles, the near misses, the emotional weight carried into Sunday. And this year, one of the sport's most compelling unfinished stories won't even begin. And that brings us to the third absence, the one that exposes the deepest crack in the system. Sergio Garcia had played in 25 consecutive U.S. Opens. That kind of streak isn't accidental. It's consistency at the highest level for over 2 decades. But this year, that run officially ends. Garcia attempted to qualify. He posted a strong number in final qualifying. It wasn't enough. Why? Because unlike previous years, he couldn't rely on world ranking points to secure automatic entry. His move to LIV Golf changed that equation. The league still does not award official world golf ranking points, which means its players lose direct access to major qualification pathways. So now a former Masters champion with a 25-year U.S. Open history must survive 36 holes against hungry, informed players fighting for one opportunity. He didn't make it. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this breakdown, subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments. Should LIV golf players have a clearer path into major championships, or should qualifying stay exactly the way it is? This absence isn't about age or decline. It's about structure. And when long-standing major contenders are forced into increasingly narrow pathways because of tour politics, the issue stops being individual. It becomes systemic. And that systemic tension is exactly what makes this moment bigger than 3 missing names. For decades, major championships were the one place where every storyline converged. Different tours, different eras, different personalities. They all met on the same stage. The majors were neutral ground. That clarity is fading. The split between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf has created competing schedules, ranking disputes, and separate ecosystems. Qualification systems now reflect those divisions. Players are forced to choose sides, and those choices carry long-term consequences. Integrity protects competition. Legacy sustains interest, and when those priorities collide, the consequences extend far beyond a single leaderboard. But from a fan perspective, the experience is changing. Instead of simply watching the best compete against the best, audiences are now navigating eligibility debates, ranking politics, and fractured fields. The conversation shifts from performance to policy. When that happens, attention drifts because the average viewer doesn't follow exemption criteria. They follow players. And when familiar names disappear from the sport's biggest stages, it doesn't feel procedural. It feels like something fundamental is shifting. And that shift raises an uncomfortable question. Is the USGA actually wrong here? From a competitive standpoint, their position is clear. A major championship is supposed to represent the highest standard in the sport. Rankings, qualifying rounds, and exemption categories exist to protect fairness. If exceptions are handed out based on reputation, the entire system weakens. No player should be bigger than the tournament. But there's another side to that argument. Legends like Tiger, Phil, and Sergio didn't just compete in majors, they elevated them. They built the television audiences, the sponsorship value, and the emotional investment that modern golf depends on. When those players vanish from the biggest stage, the tournament may still be fair, but it may not feel the same. Integrity protects competition. Legacy sustains interest, and when those two priorities collide, the consequences extend far beyond a single leaderboard. Because when integrity and legacy pull in opposite directions, the entire ecosystem feels it. The PGA Tour may not control the U.S. Open, but it operates inside the same fragile landscape. When iconic players disappear from major championships, fan engagement doesn't decline in isolation. It affects television momentum, sponsor confidence, and long-term brand strength across the sport. Golf is already navigating a divided era. If major fields begin to feel incomplete, that perception spreads quickly. Casual viewers don't separate governing bodies from tours. They see one sport, and when that sport looks fractured, when familiar names are absent and political tension overshadows competition, confidence erodes. That's where the real danger lies, not in one tournament, but in the growing sense that professional golf is no longer unified at the highest level. Shinnecock Hills will still crown a champion. The competition will be fierce, the pressure relentless, and history will move forward. But this year, the U.S. Open carries a different kind of tension. 3 fan-favorite stars are missing, and the debate around their absence isn't going anywhere. Should the USGA protect strict qualification rules at all costs? Or should legends who helped build the modern game be given a pathway back onto the biggest stage? Drop your opinion in the comments. I genuinely want to know where you stand. And while you're down there, tell me where you're watching from. Which city or country is tuning in? If you enjoy honest, no-nonsense golf breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button and join the community so you don't miss what's next.